The essence of mathematics is not to make simple things complicated, but to make complicated things much simpler. A very warm good morning to all of you. Dear class 12 students, you are all going for the board examination in few days. So in mathematics, let me have some tips and tricks which will definitely help you in studying the particular subject, mathematics. Let us begin with the first chapter, relations and functions. Relations and functions, and second chapter, inverse trigonometric functions. These two maximum you can have 8 marks. Now matrices and determinants, they have not given the separate chapter wise distribution, total it is 9. Now continuity and differentiability 5 marks, and application of differentiation is very good marks, maximum 10 marks you can have from this chapter, and integrals the maximum, that is 11. Now application of integrals only 5 marks, differential equation also carries 5 marks. Now vectors and three-dimensional equal weightage the CBSE has given 7 marks each. Linear programming 5 marks and probability 8 marks, total of 80 marks. This is the mark distribution. Now let us have a quick review of all these chapters. What are the points to be studied? So within this few days, you just go through what are the points which I have given here in the coming up slides. With the red ink I have highlighted. You just go through all these. Minimum marks definitely you can score in this subject. Let us begin with the first chapter, relations and functions. In this chapter, you have to focus on these areas: reflexive relation, symmetric relation, transitive relation, and the combination of these three, equivalence relation. Then bijection, that is a combination of 1, 1 and 1, 2. So if you focus on this, definitely you can answer the questions whatever they are going to ask. Now come to the second chapter, that is ITF. Here the questions are very less. So the principal value branch, and there is domain as well as range. These two you have to see, and the graph of inverse trigonometric functions, only the shape, everything you just have a glance, and principal value branch you have to focus on. Now come to the second unit, that is algebra. Matrices, first chapter. Here the questions normally come from the transpose of a matrix, then symmetric and skew symmetric matrices. So these are the two areas: transpose of a matrix, symmetric matrix, and skew symmetric matrices. Now the second topic is determinants. In this determinant, you get area of triangle, how to find the area of triangle in terms of determinant. Then adjoint, where if you want adjoint, then cofactor is required. So definitely cofactor, adjoint, and how to find the inverse of a square matrix. That is to be focused on. Then consistency and inconsistency, everything you can have it. Now matrix method, this is a definite question of 4-5 marks. So solving a system of linear equations in 3 variables, and you can have this matrix method. Here the product will be given. Sometimes 2 matrices of 3 by 3, the product will be given. By using that product you have to find out the solution of a system of 3 equations and 3 variables, and this is to be focused on. In continuity and differentiability, you have to focus on chain rule, then derivatives of implicit function, the functions which the x and y cannot be separated, those type of functions, how to find out the derivative, go through the problems related to it. Then exponential and the logarithmic functions derivatives, because everything will come under chain rule, because the chain rule will include the function of a function of a function, like that the terms will come and you have to find out the derivative, and the problems related to this, just go through it. Then comes logarithmic differentiation. It's a very important area. Here normally the base and the power both are variables, then you have to go for logarithm. And here the point to be remembered is, whenever 2 terms are coming in separated by plus or minuses, you have to go by u plus v method. Here maximum focus you have to give it, because normally the students commit mistake here. So just go through it. Then comes parametric. X and y are given separately. Then you have to find out dy by dx. Correct? There is a separate formula for it. Dy by dt, dy by d theta by dx by d theta, something like that. But here one point you have to remember. Dy by dx equals, suppose you are getting a function. Then to find d square by ds square, you are again differentiating with respect to x. Correct? That is to be checked. Then higher order derivatives. Higher order derivatives also, there will be a definite question for 2 or 3 marks. Then comes application of derivatives. Here 3 areas you have to focus upon. One is rate of change of quantities, second increasing and decreasing function, and the third one is maximum minima. So remember children, this is the maximum marks you can expect from this chapter. So definitely a 5-mark question from maximum minima. Maximum minima you have to study both, that is local maximum minima as well as absolute maximum minima. That working rule, everything the teachers might have taught you. So you have a glance of all this and study the problems. Then increasing and decreasing function also you have to go through it, and so many tips are there, and those tips also you have to remember while doing the problems under increasing and decreasing. Integrals. Integral, a very important area, and if you know the differentiation, integration won't be that much difficult. First you learn all the formulas, including the formulas under trigonometry, because all the trigonometry formulas are having lot of applications in integrals. So learn all the formulas of integration, all the formulas of differentiation as well as trigonometry before going for integration. Here the first method is substitution. So do maximum problems on substitution because it take over the remaining parts of integrals. Now the integral of the form 1 by q, 1 by quadratic or 1 by root of quadratic. We know the method, perfect square method you have to go for, completing the square method. Then L by q and L by root of q is very important. Here L is linear, q is quadratic. There is a separate formula for it. Put L equals a into derivative of q plus b. That is the formula, a and b to be calculated. And then you have to have that special integral formulas. So the special integral formulas, the 6 formulas are there. First 3 without root, the second 3, the last 3 with root. So all these formulas learn. Then by partial fraction, at least 3 methods are there. Whenever the denominators are linear factors, then there is a formula. When the form is 1 by the repeated factors, if it comes in the denominator, you have a separate method. And the third one is square is coming inside, that is one more method. So these 3 methods, at least if you go through it, partial fraction won't be that much difficult. And here the point to be remembered is partial fraction you can apply only when the degree of the numerator is strictly less than the degree of the denominator, right? If both are same, then you have to go by long division, and at the same time long division means immediately you must know that it must be expressed in the form q plus r by d, right? Q means quotient, r remainder, d is divisor. Then comes the last part, integration by parts, that is product rule of integration. Now the next area is application of integrals. Here you are going to get a question of 5 marks. So learn all the formulas from conic section, right? Parabola, circle first, then parabola. That 4 types of parabolas are there, and 2 types of ellipse and 2 types of hyperbolas. All these basic formulas means only the standard forms if you know it, then most of the problems from this integral application of integrals will not be a problem for you, because only one formula, integral y dx or integral a to b y dx or integral a to b x dy, depends upon on which axis you are taking up the area. Differential equation. Here you have to focus on order and degree of the differential equation, general and particular solution. Then solving of differential equation by 3 methods, that is variable separable, homogeneous and linear differential equation. So here definitely a question comes from either homogeneous or linear. Homogeneous equation and linear equation both are very important out of these 3, because homogeneous also includes this variable separable. So these 2 methods if you study, definitely you can have one question. Order and degree. Order, normal, how many times you are differentiated, that is order, and degree means the power of the highest order involved in the equation. and whenever you find the solution, normally we add C. Then when C is there, that solution is called general solution. If they give some initial value, then you substitute those initial values in the final answer, you will get C, and resubstitute that C in the final answer, you will get an equation which is free from C, and that solution is called particular solution, because by using particular value. Then solving of differential equation, there will be three types. Variables, if it is separated, one variable on one side along with the dx, and a second variable on the other side with the dy, then integrate both the sides, so you will get the solution. Homogeneous means it is of the form dy by dx equals f of y by x. There, how to find out the solution? Put y by x equals v, y equals vx, and you are finding dy by dx. It is equal to v plus x into dv by dx, right? That is the procedure. Just I am touching up the methods. Then there is the last one, that is LDE. It is of the form dy by dx plus py equals q, where p and q are functions of x alone, or you can have constants also over there. And if these three methods, if you study, definitely one question you can expect. Vectors. In vectors, you just study these areas: direction ratios and direction cosines of a vector. A, B, C are the direction ratios, and A by square root of A square plus B square plus C square, B by square root of same, and C by root of, that is DCS. So DRS and DCS, if you know DRS, how to find out DCS, right? Then position vector of a point which divides a line segment in a given ratio, that is related to section formula. You should have some one or two problems related to this. Then main two areas are scalar product as well as cross product, that is dot product and cross product. Dot product A dot B is given by mod A mod B cos theta, and A cross B is mod A mod B sin theta n cap. Why this n cap? Because it is a vector quantity, and the direction of n cap is it is actually perpendicular to both A and B. If A and B are two vectors, then A cross B is always perpendicular to both A and B. So the problems related to this study, and here you should have this IJK combination, right? Whether dot product, how this IJK works, and in cross product also how this IJK works, you should have a clear concept. Then the questions you can try. Three-dimensional geometry, a very important area, and if you know the vectors and the DRS and DCS clearly, that concept, if it is very clear, then the three-dimensional geometry will not be a problem, because they have given only one part. The plane part is totally deleted from the syllabus, so only the straight line part we have. Direction cosines of a line joining 2 points, everything you can have it with the basic knowledge of DRS and DCS of a vector. Then mainly Cartesian equation as well as vector equation of a line with respect to some condition, that is with respect to a condition means r equals a plus lambda b. That means vector equation of a line passing through one point and parallel to the vector. That means one point will be given, one parallel vector will be there, then you can find out the Cartesian equation as well as vector equation. Similarly, Cartesian equation as well as vector equation of a line joining 2 points. If two vectors A and B, 2 points are given having position vector A bar and B bar, then you have the vector equation as well as Cartesian equation. Then comes skew lines. in skew lines, they are normally asked the shortest distance between the skew lines. It is given by a formula. Then try to learn the formula in terms of vectors. That will be a little bit easier. That is shortest distance d equals a2 minus a1 dot b1 cross b2 by modulus of b1 cross b2, right? This is a formula, you have to use it. And suppose if it happens to be 0, that is numerator is 0, then shortest distance is 0. It directly implies that the two lines intersect or the vectors are coplanar. So in order to prove that the lines intersect, it is enough to show that the shortest distance or the numerator of this formula is 0. Linear programming, second last chapter of class 12th mathematics. Here the main technical terms are objective function, then optimization. These are the two technical terms. Objective function is a function which is to be optimized. That is a function by using that you can have the maximum as well as minimum value. Then here you are going to get 3 questions. One, a question of 3 marks, graphical solution, then 2 MCQ questions, 1 mark each. So here you shade everything and you may get bounded region, you may get unbounded region. Both they may ask. Either the question may be from, normally question comes from bounded, but unbounded also there in the syllabus. Probability, this is the last chapter. Here 4 or 5 points you should know it clearly. These are the sub points. One is conditional probability, then independent events, total probability, that is actually coming under Bayes theorem, then random variable and probability distribution, and mean of random variable also coming under this. So these 5 important topics, let us have a quick review. Conditional probability, P of A given B. A probability of A is to be calculated given that the event B has already happened. You have a ready-made formula with you, right? Equals, what is the formula? P of A intersection B divided by P of B is the formula. Now independent events, suppose 2 events A and B are independent, then what does it mean? P of A intersection B will be equal to PA into PB. Right. Now Bayes theorem. Bayes theorem means normally E1, E2, E3, these are all mutually exclusive and exhaustive events, and A is one common event which is having which is touching with all these E1, E2, etc. Then what is P of E1 bar A formula? P of E1 into P of A bar E1 divided by total probability. Right. If it is 3 events, denominator will have 3 terms. And P of E2 bar A, if it is asked, then P of E2 into P of A bar E2 divided by total probability. This way we will be able to do it. Here one point you remember it. This is the tip. P of A bar E1, A bar E2 we are talking about, correct? If you want to find out this, better you talk verbally this sentence or convert this into verbal format so that the idea will be very much clear. For example, P of A bar E1, you have to say verbally, if E1 is happened, if E1 is already happened, what is the probability that A happens? Right. This way, if you have to read it in reverse order, then that data will be definitely available in the question. Then comes the last one, random variable and probability distribution. The main part is probability distribution. It is a table which contains 2 columns, 2 rows. First row the random variable and second row probability, its corresponding probabilities. By using this only you are finding mean or expectation given by the formula sigma pi xi. This mean or expectation is denoted by E of x or mu or E of x. These are the different symbols we use it. So if you touch up all these, definitely minimum mark is definitely you will be able to score. Let us have some preparation tips for CBSE 12th board examination. Now examination is approaching very fast. So what you do whenever you are studying any subject, check the weightage of each topic. Right? Especially we are talking about mathematics. So check the weightage of each and every topic and don't start a new topic, correct, these days. Yeah, because that will give you a little bit stress. So never start a new topic. Practice from CBSE question bank. You take the previous question bank or the question bank prepared by your teachers So make use of it and then attempt the mock test, because through the mock test you can have the time management, how much time, whether you are able to finish within the time framework or not, you can have a check. Then give time to review your mistakes. Then you try to find out the mistakes where you have done it. Check up with the actual answer, and then see the mistakes, and then that mistakes you have to focus, and then that mistake should not happen again. That way you have a review. Then don't hesitate to contact your teachers if you have any doubts. So without any hesitation, directly call the teacher and ask your doubts, because you should have a good rapport with your teacher. Then the things will go much simpler. Then make a timetable, a home timetable you make it, and the timing, morning, afternoon, evening, how much time you have to spare for each subject, everything you make it. Definitely, if you have these simple tips, you can do better. Whenever sitting for studying, organize your class materials, whatever the things you are having, and in a fixed place, so that it is very easy to take it out whenever it is required. So pick a quite comfortable place to study. If you have a separate room, well and good. If you are not having, you take a comfortable place so that without any disturbance you will be able to study. Then remove all these distractions from your mind and from your study space, right? And don't try to cram at the last minute, because if you want to do many things at the same time, it is really a little bit difficult, and it is having stress also. So better try to avoid. Then summarize your readings and whatever practice you have done to help you identify the main concepts whatever you have learned on that particular day. So if you do this, definitely study will be much better. We have already seen what are the things you have to do it while preparing mathematics. Now let us have some don'ts of maths preparation. Never pressurize yourself by studying unfamiliar chapters. If you are not familiar to one chapter, don't try to do it in the last moment, because that will have some stress on us. So better you try to avoid that. Then don't study irrelevant topics. Some topics may be irrelevant. Then try to get the help from your teacher, and if it is really irrelevant, better you try to skip it. Then don't try to solve decades old question papers of no use actually, right? So try to solve the recent sample paper sent by CBSE, and 1 or 2 years back also you can have the reference. Definitely you can solve, you will get good questions. Then don't try to revise everything on a single day. Suppose you want to do everything on a single day, it is quite impossible. So slowly, one step by steps you have to learn, then only the subjects will be clear to you. Then never be panic and take stress, a lot of stress and all. It is not at all necessary. Sleep well. Take sound sleep of 7 to 8 hours and attempt the examination with a fresh mind, because then only you can recollect the things. So whatever getting stored in your brain, that will be get restored, and it can be taken out only if you have a sound sleep. Before winding up the session, let us have a few more basic tips, because this is maybe the gist. Have a proper healthy diet in order to keep yourself active. If you want to be active, take good balanced diet, you take it, healthy diet you take it during these days. Then never compare your level of preparation with your friends, right? It will give you stress only. So never compare it directly, and take lot of water, keep yourself hydrated all the time. Then maintain proper sleeping hours. I already told you this. 8 hours of sound sleep is required to regain the things whatever stored while studying. Do not stress yourself out. Maintain your calm always, and revise your concepts from your textbook or from the teacher, whatever they have given, you study. So if you have these tips with you, definitely you will be able to score minimum marks. And these are the few simple tips which you can inculcate, and you can bring it in your study habits in these days to get very good marks. And I personally wish each one of you all the best, and everyone will definitely come out with flying colors. And whatever doubts you are having, and we the teachers will be always available 24/7. Anytime you can call, we never say no, and it is our moral responsibility at the same time. It is our bound duty to help you people. So even though your teacher is not available, you can ask any teacher in this region. Each and every one will be in your fingertip whenever you ask your doubts in mathematics. Children, all the best and do well, and see that you are all coming on the top list of Kendra Vidyalayas. Thank you. Thank you very much.